Want to hear a story? I got about a dozen or so stories. They're all true. They're not all G-rated. Somebody told me, though, I should write down these stories because they're getting old, a lot of them, and they're all just memory. But there is one I can tell to all audiences, and it happened probably 40 years ago. And at the time, it was the talk of the community. It was big news. It was happened, as I say, 40 years ago in South Rustico. The adventure started on the hill there at the Barachois Inn. And I was up there one day with my old Jeep. I had an old CJ7. And it was a nice sunny day, and there was a girl that lived in the area up there, nice girl. Her name was Alana. And her and I were talking. She was a friend of the Denise and Andrea's, I guess. Anyway, her and I were talking, and she was telling me that you could drive down the field out onto the shoreline and go out around the point, and it was really cool. And I said, well, geez, that sounds cool. Let's go. So away we went. We got down onto the shoreline. We're driving along, and all of a sudden, down we went. The Jeep went down. It got stuck in this soft, boggy, smelly sand, and it was just stuck. And we tried a few different things. We just couldn't get it out. So we, as memory served, Denise or somebody knew some fella, and he went and got his father's tractor and come down with the tractor and tried to get me out, and didn't he get the tractor stuck? And I remember, it was a long time ago, but I remember the young fellow's father came down, and he had one arm. I remember that. And he was upset, and he was like, holy jeez, he says, the tide's coming in tonight and all this, and if we lose the tractor, we might as well say goodbye to the farm. He wasn't too happy. And so the next thing, we called Shaw's Towing, and they come down as far as the end of the field and looked down onto the shoreline, and they said they weren't coming out there with their tow truck. That would be they weren't doing that. So we're starting to get pretty concerned. It was, by this time, it was 6 or 7 o'clock at night. It wasn't dark yet, but the tide was lapping in. And they were saying the winds were supposed to pick up later that night. So it was definitely getting a little bit concerned about what we're going to do about everything. I didn't care about Buddy's tractor, but I wanted my Jeep. Anyway, somebody had an idea that we'll call Mike Larder, our cousin. He'd know what to do. So we got a hold of Mike, and Mike came out, and he assessed the situation. And he wasn't long. He got an old piece of timber, driftwood, like a log, and he put it in front of the back tires of the tractor and chained it to the tractor tires. It's kind of a dangerous maneuver if you don't know what you're doing, because the tractor can flip right over backwards. And he got on the tractor, and he made the tractor run up on the log and free itself. So and then he got it far enough up on hard ground, he had the tractor out. And then he got a long enough line or a chain or something, and we got it onto the Jeep. And didn't he get the Jeep out? And, this happened, it started about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and just before it got dark, we had her out. So it was a long old day, and half of Rustico was out for that. True story.